We were talking with Miss Sarah Hodges, who's at Hodges-Wabg-Tv-Sports. Tell us about you and how did you get to the Mississippi Delta?
Okay, sure. Well, a little bit about myself. I grew up in Orange County, California. I grew up with 3 brothers, so sports is pretty much the common denominator in our household. I played college basketball, and when I figured out that I probably wasn't going to play on the next level, I thought, well, there's nothing better than at least being sidelined and still getting that feeling, that you get when you're on the court. But so I just applied for jobs. I graduated from Cal State Fullerton, got my degree in journalism and broadcasting, and applied for jobs on TV jobs and landed my second gig here. I was in Dothan, Alabama as a number 3 there first. So.
You played basketball. Is that your favorite sport?
Yeah, definitely.
Your favorite sport to cover as well?
Yeah, I mean, I've grown to love football so much because I've been in the South my entire career, so it's like you have to love football when you're here. So I've grown to love it a lot. I just understand basketball more than I do football. So
okay, you're into what's called a male-dominated field. Mm-hmm. Was that a challenge for you? And how did you make the decision to get into sports broadcasting?
Mm-hmm. It is a challenge. So sometimes it's more beneficial because you are a girl. So and it's in a primarily male-dominated workplace. So you do get a little bit of extra love than probably a guy would give a guy. That's true, but you do kind of notice sometimes you get left out of conversation. But I've never taken really much offense to it. To me, it's just a challenge, and I'm a competitor, so I'm up for the challenge.
Speaking of the challenges, what is your biggest challenge day to day in the sports broadcasting as a whole? Not necessarily in California here, but your day to day, the biggest challenge.
There's a lot of challenges, but probably the biggest challenge is just keeping, up to date with everything going on. Like with sports, everything is forever changing, and just keeping that knowledge and staying informed on all the teams that you cover. As you know, we cover so many high school teams, then we cover so many college teams, and just knowing all the players. I think that's the biggest challenge. Besides, like, meeting deadlines obviously is a challenge, but once you do it over and over, it becomes much easier.
How do you determine what your audience want to see?
I just determine that by just being out and about, hearing what people have to say. Obviously, being here, in a small town, that people want to see the local kids and what they're up to, and not just, on the field or on the court or on the track, but just who they are as a person. And I think that's really important, because you just think these kids are all about sports, but really, they enjoy different things. And that's what I've pretty much tried to do since I've been here, is just open up these personalities for people to see.
And when you're in an area, you cover all the sports. You cover college sports and high school sports. Mm-hmm. The difference in covering high school sports and covering college sports?
I would say the biggest difference in high school and college is, let me think about this. Mm-hmm. Probably high school is and I'm sure college is the same, but it's more of like mentoring. And as you know, you're in high school, the amount of kids that are going to play, on the next level gets smaller, and then when you're in college, the amount of players that are going to play in the next level gets smaller. So I think just the mentoring factor, these coaches are pretty much around here. A lot of these kids don't have fathers, and so you have these coaches who are these kids' dads. So it's just so interesting to see, and I admire them so much because they play such a big role in these players' lives. And I've just gotten to know high school a little bit more than college, because college is a little bit more reserved, where I can be more involved with high school, and I see that so much in high school, and college not as much.
Your favorite sportscaster, someone that you say, well, hey, I want to be like that person. Talk about that for a second.
Sure. Sideline Pam Oliver, just the way that she is able to demonstrate whatever she's reporting is very admirable. As far as, I also like Rachel Nichols, which a lot of people don't like her, but I just feel like she's so herself and cool, calm, and collected, and I admire that about her as well. Sarah Walsh, I could go on and on, but probably Pam as far as the reporting, side goes.
Once you cover teams and coaches, you have a tendency, many times, to get a little emotional attached to them. How do you separate that, the emotions from your professionalism when it comes to talking and covering teams?
Right. I think the way you separate it is you just, I love every kid that I cover, so it's easy, it's hard because you have these two teams and you have these rivalry matchups, and you hear this kid's story and you hear that kid's story, And I think that you just love them all. So that's how you're able to separate it. You sort of root for them all and you're happy for either or because you've gotten to know them and you want the best for them. So,
is this a life dream for you? Do you intend to do this through the duration of your career?
I do. I mean, I'm sure like God has a bigger plan out of this. I don't know if I'm going to be, anchoring for my entire life or if I'm going to be sidelined my entire life, but I know that whatever I do is going to stem from, my experience in the sports world. I'm thinking maybe eventually like a charity thing would come out of it. I'm not exactly sure, but I know that God has placed me on this path. He brought me to the South. He's keeping me here. I'm still figuring out why. I don't know why, but I'm really excited to find out.
You're from a different world, so to speak. What is the one thing that you grabbed from the Delta, being in the Delta, one thing that you noticed more than anything else?
Oh man, just the Southern hospitality is real. Like, I can tell you that this is what I tell people. I feel like once I moved here, I traded quality of life, and when I say that, I mean by being able to eat at nice restaurants and being able to go to the beach and being able to pretty much have whatever I want on my fingertips for quality of people. And after experiencing it, I'll make that trade any day.
Covering a winning program and covering a program that's growing and not winning after the ball games, how do you approach it? You approach that any differently? A winning team and a coach that has lost?
I don't think that you approach it differently. Your feelings are a little bit different because like you just want, if a team is consistently losing and you've built a relationship with the players and the coaches, you just want so bad for them to be able to win, because that's what it's about. And then a winning team is obviously fun because you get to celebrate with them and you get to share their success, and that's always fun as well. But I think you have the same approach. You tell the facts, and at the end of the day, that's what our job is. So,
any athlete that you've seen, you cover a lot of sports, a lot of athletes, any athlete that you've seen in your career that say, wow, this guy here's on a different level?
Okay. A few. Locally, I would say, Booker T, who's here at NBSU, and I watched him play. He was, extremely good athlete. At one right now, Nero Nelson, he's doing a phenomenal job. I've seen him play, up against the best in the Delta, and he's been able to just explode so quick. It's been so fun watching him. And then as far as on the college level, I would say, locally, Tyler Sullivan, great quarterback, just constantly on his toes, very accurate and precise, and just a leader in general. And probably also Nick Marshall, just watching him grow and develop into a great athlete. And Amari Cooper I watched, who's now playing for the Raiders and being very successful over there. And honestly, Jeremy Johnson, and I'm so sad that he's not doing that well, but when I saw him throw the ball, it was like I couldn't wait. I was like, I cannot wait for him to be quarterback. So
you're going to be leaving the Mississippi Delta. You make your programs fun. Folks like seeing you play. You're going to leave the Delta. What is that? What impression do you want to leave on the Mississippi Delta, and what do you want to tell the Delta people now that you'll be leaving in a little while? Okay.
The biggest impression I want to leave is, coming from the West Coast to the South is very different. Obviously, I want to be careful with how I say it, but over in the West Coast, there's so many different cultures, and for the most part, everybody is accepted. You see all different shapes, sizes, colors, and everybody is together. And here, it's just not really as much like that. And so when I came here, I just wanted that to be, anybody who sees me is going to see me with everyone. It doesn't matter who it is. I'm going to be a part of everybody's life, and everybody has a fair shot. And I just want people to see that when they see me and they're like, wow, it doesn't matter if it's an old man, a young lady, an old lady, it doesn't matter who it is. I'm going to be able to have conversation and talk to anybody, and that's pretty much, I guess, what